three companies control more than 70% of Europe's cloud market. Not one of them is European. On the 3rd of June 2026, the European Commission decided that was a problem worth a law. This is the Cloud and AI Development Act. What it actually says and why Europe is treating cloud and AI not as technology, but as power. First, what it is. On the 3rd of June 2026, the Commission put forward Document COM 2026-502 Final. But hold on to one thing throughout this lesson. It is still a proposal, not a binding regulation. As of mid-2026, the legislative procedure is ongoing. So think of the Act as a map of the Commission's intended policy architecture, not a rule book that has already entered into force. The shift it represents is the whole point. For years, cloud computing and AI were treated as technical equipment, plumbing. This proposal reframes them as strategic resources tied directly to Europe's economic security, its sovereignty, its resilience, and its competitiveness. Why now? Because AI does not run on ambition, it runs on compute, massive amounts of it. Cloud provides the processing power, the software building blocks, and the interfaces used to build and deploy AI. And as demand climbs, the proposal makes a quiet but important claim. Where that compute physically sits can matter just as much as how powerful it is. Picture a European manufacturer with connected factories across several member states. Cameras inspect products, sensors watch machines, AI models flag defects in real time, and the line may need to react instantly. That kind of workload can need low latency compute nearby. Send it to distant infrastructure, and you invite delay, dependence, and operational exposure. The proposal sets no specific latency number, but the message is clear. And Europe has a capacity problem. Rising demand for storage and processing is running into obstacles to building data centers quickly. That pushes European businesses to route critical workloads through foreign hyperscaler infrastructure. And it steers investment abroad because regions with cheaper, more abundant compute are simply more attractive places to build and train AI. So the Act sets an ambitious aim to triple the EU's data center capacity within 5 to 7 years and reach the needed capacity by 2035. Be precise here, that is an aim, not a legal result that already exists. The text itself doesn't define the baseline or spell out exactly what needed capacity means. It's the direction of travel. But capacity is only half the story. The other half is dependence. And the Commission's diagnosis is blunt. And the market share of EU cloud providers fell from 29% in 2017 to 15% in 2022 and has stayed flat since. Cloud demand kept growing the whole time. So this isn't a shrinking market. It's Europe's slice of a growing one shrinking, then stalling. And the concentration is stark. Today, 3 non-EU hyperscalers control over 70% of the European cloud market. That single fact sits underneath almost everything else in this proposal. Now, why does that matter so much? Because large market incumbents are subject to third country jurisdictions, including laws with extraterritorial reach. The Commission points to risks around data access and transfer that can conflict with EU fundamental rights and data protection rules, and to the possibility of operational discontinuity, a unilateral decision by an outside actor disrupting an essential service. And that's why the proposal uses sovereignty in a broad sense. It goes beyond where data is stored and relates to operational autonomy. Can important services keep running without unacceptable dependence on outside actors? The proposed answer is an ecosystem approach, not one lever, but several working together. Research and innovation initiatives linking networks, cloud, AI, and software, measures tailored to accelerating data center deployment, open source treated as a lever for technological sovereignty, and special weight on grand challenges, large cross-sectoral efforts on energy efficient compute, autonomy across the cloud stack, and frontier physical and industrial AI. Then comes a crucial demand side tool, public procurement. The proposal would give public buyers a framework for informed purchasing decisions and for using their buying power to reduce dependencies. With EU added value award criteria and common procurement, and a deliberate focus on real openings for smaller EU-based providers. At the center sits a proposed sovereignty framework, a harmonized auditable set of criteria at different levels of sovereignty. This lesson's text doesn't list those levels or their tests. That comes later in the course, but it establishes the shape. Services could be assessed and formally recognized at a given level, and member states would run sovereignty risk assessments to decide which use cases need which level. It's a risk-based design, not one identical rule for everyone. Does this replace Europe's other digital laws? No, the Commission is explicit that it complements them. The Data Act reduces vendor lock-in, but in its words, does not build the road to a more sovereign EU cloud sector. The Digital Markets Act targets fairness, but doesn't actively promote sovereign cloud uptake. And the AI Act protects health, safety, and fundamental rights, but it does not cover sovereignty. This proposal is meant to fill that specific gap. So here's the core takeaway. The Cloud and AI Development Act is not simply about building more data centers or regulating AI more tightly. It's an attempt to wire together compute capacity, trusted cloud services, public purchasing, innovation, and operational autonomy into a single European strategy. In Europe's view, cloud and AI infrastructure has stopped being background technology and become part of the machinery of power. That's Module 1. This is the free, full first lesson of a deep dive course that walks the entire Cloud and AI Development Act, article by article, including the sovereignty levels and the audit criteria we only pointed at here. The whole course is free on Skarp with audio, flashcards, and practice questions. Head to skarp.app or search Skarp on the App Store. Subscribe for the next module, and I'll see you there.